We're out here in the field, kind of give you a little bit of, or show you our combine. We've been working on it for about 4 years now. We're getting pretty happy with it. There's still some stuff we need to do to it, but it's was designed by a local farmer, Don Demaray, and we've just kind of worked on it, and it's got plywood, it's got all different stuff, but it's starting to work really well. One of the main things about this one that makes it different from any other on the market, it's a 3-wheeled combine, and it will turn at a shorter radius at the end, and it does not go up and down. It's pretty stationary, and we use vine cleaner on the top, as you'll see through video that we're taking of it. Like I said, the thing about the combine is we use less people. We're about 18 on the crew, and standard's about 32. So we're quite interested in keep working with it and see how it comes along. The process all the way through is they cut them in the front, the vines go in, and instead of the commercial way picking down, these pick up because the hops they're on the vine, and we pick up instead of down. And then in the back there, the vines are chopped up so we don't have to haul them out again, which saves time and fuel. And there's less loads because we're not hauling all the other products that we don't need. We're just hauling mainly hops, probably on a percentage basis, probably 85% hops and the rest is leaves. So instead of 100% vine, you got more hops. Makes it nice. Less trucks to keep maintenance on, which is nice. We run 9 trucks with the Don and Hauer. We're running 4 trucks with the combine. It's the same. We had to change it a little bit out front. We had to put in a hopper, which you'll see a video of, I'm sure. And you can run through supposedly more acres a day. We're not to that point yet, but we're getting closer, which is about 8 to 9 acres a day. And we're doing about the same with our Don and Hauer. It's just kind of interesting to see a field out, or a combine out in the field. I'm always been kind of curious about machinery, and this one got my curiosity up, so we've been working on it, like I said, for the last 4 years. And it's always nice to see something that you're able to use. I have a lot of stuff that I've started and ended up that I never use it, so it's kind of nice to have a little bit of success every once in a while with something. So it's just, and it's one of a kind, so that kind of is another little trivial about it. Okay, that horn signal that the truck's full, it will empty out the machine and be unhooking here in just a second. And then the truck backs away, the guy gets down from forking it and gets in the next truck. Those are trucks that we use for spreading fertilizer. All we did is put taller racks on them, took the beaters out of the back, and they got a moving floor in them. So it's kind of a dual purpose truck too, so that's kind of nice. You know, anytime you can get more use out of your equipment, it's a better deal for everybody involved. And then the tractor that you see sitting behind over here is something that we had to come up with because we like our wires that the hops hang on looser than most, because that puts weight on each hop pole instead of if you were taut or tight, it would put a lot more pressure on your anchors. But there's a downside to that because you got to pull the 6s down, as you can see in the distance there. That brown extension's hooked to the wires and pulling them down. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, but that's what it's doing. and that just helps pull it tight and makes the machine work well, and we feel it helps hold our trellis up with the wires having little loops in them, and then that, like I said, puts weight on each and every pole out here instead of just the two on the outside. Right here's the chopper that I was talking about that made these combines kind of feasible. They're never used to have a chopper on them, and you'd have to burn the vines, and nowadays burning they would frown on. So as you can see here, it does a good job. That's the whole, what the vine ends up like is that right there, and it's that's another idea of Don's Demaray's. He made it, and it's works really well. And as I mentioned, the fingers are in backwards to a conventional. They point down, and we actually pick up. Actually, it'd be a pretty nice shot if you can just show the front of that. Kind of tight in there. It goes in the grasper line down low, and the fingers pick up, and it gets cut off at the top, which is interesting. And then the other feature I mentioned was it's a three-wheel. You can see the single wheel there up front, which the turning ratio is a lot better than the four-wheel. And that what makes that so important is you don't have to leave so much room on the ends of your fields. You can turn around, and that way I didn't have to readjust all my trellis that I have. We just use existing trellis. And you got your single driver up front that drives it. Then we got the gentleman in the back that runs the cleaners that picks them up and down. We'll go to the back of the machine, and as we hook up, we tow the truck so we don't have to guess distance. It's just that way the truck stays right where it belongs. And as I said, we use these for hauling other stuff, so they're a dual purpose truck, which the truck's got a chain in it, a live chain in the bottom, fills the front of the truck, moves the load back, and that way it ends up hauling probably 3 times, 4 times of what a normal hop truck will haul. That gate holds it up. So these draper chains move towards the back, and then when we get to the plant, it dumps the hops, as you'll see in video. So it's been a long time coming, but every year it gets a little better, a little easier, so that's kind of nice. At the end of the day, when everybody's done, the mechanic comes in, looks the machine over, and spends probably anywhere from an hour, half hour to an hour afterwards working on the machine. And here's his truck pulling up, getting ready for the next day. Everybody thinks we get to go home and do what we want to do, but that's not the case. We got to take care of the equipment we got. I kind of enjoy that. It's kind of peaceful when you get rid of everybody and you can work on something yourself and have your thoughts to yourself and ideas to yourself, and being able to get something to run better than it was before you started. It's always a good thing. Sometimes it don't happen though. Sometimes the opposite happens. So you got to be prepared for those days also. So.